I have a star-studded panel here led by none other than JP Dumini from South Africa. Welcome to the show, JP.
Thanks, Anis. How are you doing?
Good, fine, thank you. Then I have Naresh, who looks to be very happy. He's from Pune, but a staunch Mumbai fan. Welcome, Naresh.
Thank you, Anis.
I have Arnav, young cricketer, rising cricketer, also from Mumbai. How are you, Arnav, today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good.
Good. And I can see very happy with all his teeth open, Dr. Shailen Verma, the dentist, after the heartbreak in the last match. Welcome, Dr. Shailen.
Thank you very much, Anis bhai. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited today, and with all the stalwarts around. Thank you for inviting.
I have Chirag. Chirag, I think, is a KKR fan, and there's one fan hiding, Abhijit. I'm not sure whether it's there or no, but nonetheless, welcome to all of you guys.
Thank you, Anis bhai.
Thank you, Anis bhai.
JP, let me first start with the second game which happened. The more I see this young pocket dynamo bat, Prithvi Shaw, I feel he's a treat to watch, and India can't be looking ahead of him. Rather, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but he should be India's go-to man in the T20 World Cup.
You know, the difficulty, and I guess it's probably in many ways a good headache to have for India, is that there are so many players at the top of the order that they can choose from. You obviously have Shikhar Dhawan there, you've got Rahul there, and Prithvi would be up there with challenging those guys, 100%. And I think I've been listening a little bit to the commentary around Prithvi Shaw, and he's obviously been identified as a huge talent for India. And as he gets older, he would gain more experience, obviously, and get to understand his game a bit more, and the ability to be able to read situations, read the surface better, that will come with time, because at times it feels like he just goes one way. And when I talk about one way, it's one thing being aggressive, but the important thing is to understand how you're going to be aggressive on various conditions. And that's the thing that he will learn with time. And if you look at the way he played tonight, it was a good surface. He had the ability to hit straight down the ground, which is probably his go-to when he's trying to be aggressive. And that played into his hands. So, I mean, he's an exciting talent. And, there are so many that stand out from an Indian perspective. So all the Indian fans here on this call must be super excited. Even if you're not a Delhi Capitals fan, you must be super excited to see players coming through and really staking a claim for that Indian spot.
Definitely, we'll discuss in one of our shows about what sort of squad India should take in the World Cup. But before that, Naresh, clinical win for Delhi?
Oh, absolutely. And just to answer a question on Mumbai Indians, even Prithvi Shaw actually is from Mumbai. So definitely it's all about Mumbai today. But yeah, after the Australia disappointment, and he did mention in the post-match interview that he had a family chat. His dad was backing him on what he needs to do different, and the patience. And obviously there were talks about Praveen Amre working on him after he came back from Australia. He had a big domestic scoring spree, when he played the recent concluded. It was a 50-over tournament, but he was playing like a T20. His strike rates were very high, and he scored 700 plus. So that he's confident. He's looking to score big, and I think that's very nice to see that. And he has addressed his issues of footwork that was very obvious in the last IPL and also in Australia. Yes, these are Indian wickets, but it is good to see that he has made those changes, what was required to play long innings. But yeah, it needs to be very consistent, and sometimes it's coming across that he's taking a lot of risk. But yeah, as JP said, as time goes, as he matures more as a batsman, he will start adapting to those situations to be more dependable to play the longer innings. But he's on the right track. That is one thing good. That disappointment of Australia, you can say that he's got over it.
All right, JP, let me ask you this question. Sometimes being a captain, and when you see one player just going after your bowlers, like one bowler from Shivam Mav, even though he's a youngster, went for 6 boundaries in the first over. And the other bowlers also were not spared except Pat Cummins. So what does a captain do in such a scenario? How do you halt?
So I guess, again, situation of the game, that will determine, I think, your initial response. But I think the main thing from a captaincy and a leadership point of view, you don't want to turn away from players where they would feel like you don't believe in them or trust them to do a job for you. So yes, there will be moments, right, where you realize, okay, maybe he's not the guy for this very moment. You maybe turn to somebody else. But I think the important thing is having that conversation to him and saying, listen, just hold there. I'm going to bring you back at another point in the game because you're reading the situation and what the situation requires. And it comes down to confidence. How, as a leader, what is your main role as a leader? Your main role is to get the best out of people. And you've got to develop relationships off the field to be able to understand what makes players tick on the field. What things need to be said at certain times to give you the best chance to go out and perform. And if it's a kick up the arse, so be it. But there needs to be a shoulder around the arm, so be it. You need to identify those moments and read the situation of the body language of players. And that is how you need to respond. Not only responding in emotion. As a captain, as a leader, you've got to be very controlled in your responses in situations to make sure that you get the best out of players.
Very well said, JP. Wise words from none other than JP. Let me come to Dr. Shailen Verma. Khush to aaj ab bahut ho gaye.
Yes, definitely. It was absolutely a clinical win. And I guess Delhi made a complete statement from what it lost by this one run. And today they really made a statement by finishing the match within 16.3 overs. And I think they have come back really strongly. And I wish they keep this winning formula in the coming games forward.
I'm sure they will, Doctor. I will come back to you when we play the competition. Let me come and ask my couple of fans. One I can see, Abhijit. He always meets me in a cricket match and says, no, today KKR is going to do this. And then he had said we should drop Morgan and probably a few more advices. Abhijit, what is going on with KKR? Kya ho raha hai, bhai?
Yeah, it was very upsetting loss again. And again, we failed to show some composure in the middle order. I'm sort of thinking, what's our sort of merger in terms of like, are we gonna go from the ball one? Like, are we gonna go like England approach or good old like KKR approach, like where just take it all the way throughout? But I mean, I really want to see Narayan at the top with Shubham Gill and take the pressure off Shubham Gill a little bit. And I really want to see him at the top. And if you really want to gamble big with Shubham, with Narayan at the top.
All right, JP. The fan from KKR seems to saying that they're not following the gung-ho approach of England. Now, I definitely know this, and I'm sure you are also aware that, England got inspired by the way McCallum and his team were playing the 2015 World Cup, and they tried to follow that and they put into practice. But both, I believe Morgan and McCallum have been stubborn about the openers. Now it's been 7 games. The strike rate for both them is 115. Still no changes. How long can you give them the rope?
So, yeah, I think that rope is getting short now. It's getting pretty short. So the thing about that is, you look at a style of play that Brendan McCullum sort of influenced world cricket really for a period of time. But the thing that we don't speak about a lot is how he got it wrong more often than not first. And that were particularly New Zealand, that were their biggest lessons, because often we find our biggest lessons in our failures, in our disappointments and our challenges, because that's where we identify the margin in terms of making those mistakes. So we kind of drop that gauge of how we're going to come down in terms of that extremities that we're going to play. And eventually they got to a point where they found a formula in a way that they were able to be consistent. And obviously England adopted that as well. And England went through the same approach. I remember 2016, 2017, we played against England. And there were games where they just blew out because they went the sort of aggressive approach. And then they found a perfect medium in terms of how they want to go about it, but also they found the players that they were going to use that could be consistent. And I think KKR is still searching for that. And I think that's why it's a little bit challenging for a KKR supporter, is because you're obviously wanting your team to win. But the reality is there's also a exploration phase. There's a building phase for a squad now, where there's obviously a few new players in. They need to adapt to a style of play. They need to buy into a style of play. And some players will fall by the wayside. That's the reality of the situation. But the cream will rise to the top in terms of a style of play they want to go about and who are going to be those players in their squad. So it's working out the combinations. I'm pretty sure we might see Narayan at the top of the order again at some stage in this tournament, because they're having to explore certain scenarios: who's best in the middle, who's best at the top, who's best at the depth. So the more they explore, the more they can understand what their perfect squad is, and the challenge is working towards that journey and going along that journey as a spectator.
I'm sure youngsters around, whosoever are listening to this show, will probably give it a thought, especially Arnav. You're a young player coming up, Chirag, Abhijit, and our analyst Naresh, as well as Doctor and myself, lots to learn from JP whenever he talks. He really hits the nail and talks sense. Thank you, JP, for this lovely words. Let me now come to the second game. Naresh, Mumbai got the surface they wanted.
Well, yeah, one thing is good that it got proved that, that Chennai was related to conditions, and they could adapt to Delhi much more as per their, the way they approach a game. Especially Quinton de Kock was looking really good while chasing. Rajasthan, I think, lost the way with Butler getting out after a good start. Butler has a very good record against Mumbai Indians. So that is where they lost out. If you see in the last 6 games since 2018, Mumbai has won only one against Rajasthan Royals, and Butler, Archer, and Ben Stokes have made a difference. Only Butler was here today, so he could have gone long and played deep, but that didn't happen. But Mumbai, I think, felt good on this wicket, especially chasing. They decided to chase. Otherwise, they were always setting in Chennai. But yeah, bowling looked good. They made a surprising change actually by dropping Ishan Kishan and getting in a bowler, because Chennai, all the bowlers did very well. Whatever they could win and they could get close to winning was because of the bowlers. So it was surprising to see that another additional bowler was coming in. They retained 3 spinners, but that was another way of putting a challenge to the batsman that now you need to score. I'm reducing your batsman. So I think it went well for Mumbai. You can say they are starting fresh now on this surface. They would like to continue this winning streak when they get to bat on such kind of surface. And Bumrah was once again exceptional in that the way he's been bowling just 15 in his spell. He's been really good.
All right. Before I come to JP, let me quickly ask Arnav. You felt Mumbai played the game you wanted?
As a batting point of view, yes. As a bowling point of view, they could have bowled to their plans, because most of their bowlers went for about 8 or 9 economy, and only Bumrah was the only one that went for 15 runs. So maybe, like, I personally thought I knew they were going to drop Ishan Kishan after the last innings, but I thought they would have maybe played Chris Lynn or some extra batsman, because they were playing with 3 foreign players for the last 2-3 games. And I was surprised to see Nathan Coulter, because the bowlers actually have done a good job. And you can see if you're playing Krunal Pandya as an all-rounder and he bowls only 1 over in the match, so maybe there's some problem going, because there's bowlers that Hardik Pandya hasn't bowled till now. Then Pollard bowls some games and some games he doesn't. So maybe they can try and see what the problem is with their batting. But Quinton de Kock played really well.
So just a
Let me
point
ask
on that.
JP.
Just to comment on that.
You saying something? Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a point on what Anna was talking about and the selection. So I think the thing that we could consider as well is the surface, right? So Delhi being a better surface, and possibly looking at your Pandya brothers as well as Pollard. They've been using them particularly in the slower surfaces, right? So now they're going to a better surface. Now they're needing an out and out bowler, hence the Coulter selection. And with it being a better track, they can then rely on their batters to say, right, here's a better surface for you guys to go out and do the business, which they did. You know, they rely heavily on their top 4, top 5, even top 6 with Pollard there.
Yeah.
If they're not scoring the runs in the top 6, then they shouldn't really deserve to win the game on a surface like that. So I actually think that was an encouraging sort of move in terms of selection. And I think that was possibly a consideration as well.
I'm sure, Arnav, you've got your answer, what you were saying about Ishan Kishan being dropped. And I remember JP also mentioning that Quinton de Kock would like the surfaces when he gets onto surfaces where the ball comes onto the bat. When we were saying somebody had asked him. In fact, my son had asked him about why is he struggling. Anyway, let me come to Chirag, Rajasthan Royals fan. Chirag, what do you think is going wrong? Yeah, I can see that.
I think they could score 20 to 25 runs more while batting, because between 15 to 20 overs, it was a magnificent bowling by MI. As you saw Jasprit Bumrah and Trent Boyle getting wickets. Plus, I think they need a good spinner in the team who can take wickets in the middle over, because we have Rahul Tewatia and Rian Parag, but they are not that experienced. I think they need to get Shreyas Gopal back into team and back him a little bit more, because we need the wickets in the middle overs.
All right. Fair enough. JP, my question to you now, we've seen a fair bit of all the teams. When you talk about the top 4 teams, they seem to be way ahead in the race compared to the below 4 teams. What's your assessment in this first 7 games? Okay, a couple of teams have still have to play 7 games, but how would you probably rate them?
I think it's a fair assessment I think it's a fair assessment to see who those top 4 are: CSK, Delhi, RCB, Mumbai. I think historically, if we had to go over a period of 5 to 6 years, those 4 teams have probably been your standout teams. And it's mainly based on the fact that they've kept core group of players for a lot of the years of playing in the IPL, and they've built around those teams. Whereas KKR, to a degree, Punjab, Rajasthan, and SRH, there's been some shuffling, trying to find those formulas. So they would need to, particularly the bottom 4, they're still searching for that identity of what style of play they're looking at. Whereas, those other top 4 teams have found some consistency. I'm really encouraged to see how well CSK are playing again. If we look back to last season, not performing at their best. Now I was listening to an interview with Faf yesterday, and he was talking about they've got a good balance, particularly in their depth. The quality of players that are sitting on their bench just shows the quality that is out in the middle playing. As well as RCB. I mean, RCB are playing extremely well as well. Their main players are really performing, and they seem to find a good formula and a good balance of experience and youth. And it's good to see young Indians coming through and putting in some big performances, which is always going to bode well for a strong IPL.
Very well said once again, JP. Now, don't be disappointed, guys. The players must have not done well on the field, but Chirag, you can beat Arnav today on Mr. Cricket's page. Are you ready, Chirag?
Yes, sure.
All right. So my first question to Arnav: who was the man of the match in today's game? Mumbai Ara?
Quinton de Kock.
I thought it was just with Bumrah, isn't it, JP?
Yeah, that's great.
Queenie. Yeah. So 1-0 to Arnav. Okay. Are you ready, Mike, for the question, Chirag?
Yeah.
Who was your best bowler for the day?
Chris Morris, because he got 2 wickets.
So goodbye, 15 crores. Another
Yes,
16.
still it's fine as he made us win 1 match, a crucial match
Another two matches.
versus
Two matches. He's going to win two matches.
Two
Yeah,
games.
One with the bat, one with the ball.
Yeah, one with the bat. Especially with the bat, he got a recognition after, and everyone was like, "Yes, this is a good buy." Because before the previous match, which he made us won, Sanju Samson didn't give him the strike, and he didn't hit as he was expected. But next match, he proved himself that yes, he's a good buy.
All right. Arnav, who got the wicket of Joss Butler?
Rahul Char.
Right. Well done again, Arnav. Now, Chirag, you need to make sure that you do it 2-all. Otherwise, Arnav will walk away with the title off the field also. All right.
Yes.
How many runs did Quinton de Kock score?
Quinton de Kock scored
I'll give you three
something.
choices. 60, 70, 80. It's very simple.
70.
All right. Well done. 2-all. Arnav, now are you ready for the knockout?
Yes, I am.
All right. Let me ask you, who's the boss running the show for RR?
Oh.
Give me a clue. Let me give you a clue. He's a Sri Lankan.
Kumar Sangakkara.
All right. Well done. Well done. Well done. Chirag, now let me put the other way. Who's the boss running Mumbai?
Mahela Jayawardene.
Two Sri Lankans running the show. Wow. It's a tie, but Arnav walks away with it. Well done, Arnav. You won on and off the field. We have to give it to the winning team. Well done, Arnav. So, Abhijit,
Thank you.
now you have to make sure that you win finally off the field, okay? You've been also playing bad in Indo cricket. I saw you messing up the game yesterday. All right, so my first question to you. I'm trying to bully him. My first question to you. Okay, who was the highest scorer for KKR today?
It was Russell scoring 45 runs.
Well done, well done, well done.
Birthday boy, but didn't have a good birthday. Yeah.
Dr. Saab, are you ready, doctor?
Yeah.
Who is the man of the match of today's game for you?
Prithvi Shaw, of course.
Of course, Prithvi Shaw. Well done, Dr. Saab. Let me come again to Abhijit. Who caught the wicket of Owen Morgan? He's an offie, a newcomer.
Yadav, is it?
Yeah,
What's that?
good.
What did he
Yadav.
say?
Yeah.
Yadav.
Yeah, good.
Yadav. But there are many Yadavs. We have Kuldeep Yadav. We have
Is it
Yadav.
Lalit? Is it?
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Well done, well done, well done, mate. Well done, Dr. Saab. KKR इसमें आगे है, अभी आपको कुछ करना पड़ेगा. Ishant Sharma ने, how many wickets did Ishant Sharma take today?
Ishant Sharma, I think he didn't take any wicket.
Yeah, good
Oh,
job.
well done,
good
Dr.
job.
Saab. Well done, well done. Abhijit, if you win this, then you're putting pressure on the doctor, all right? Very simple question. Very, very simple question. How many runs did your opening bowler go for in the first over?
25.
Who's that bowler?
Mavi. To be honest, I was backing him up today, but
Okay.
he lost.
When the first over got over, you started pushing him. Oh God, why did Morgan give him? No, that's fine. That happens in cricket. That happens in cricket. All right, Dr. Saab, my question to you. Who is your big boss of your team? Who runs the show?
Vicky Ponting.
All right, 3 out of 3. So once again, the team which wins on the field, one has won off the field too. Sorry, mate. 3-all. JP, thank you very much. Wonderful show as always. Guys,
Pleasure,
we
guys.
want to quickly, one of you. I'll ask one guy, probably the winning team from each can ask one question quickly. Dr. Saab, you can ask one quick question to JP.
JP, I think in Delhi Capitals, the bowling of Rabada is not up to that mark. So do you think Norje would be a better choice?
I wouldn't say it's a better choice. I think it's more trying to work out what is it that they're looking for on a particular surface. So with playing at Delhi now, do they need a different type of seamer? I think that's going to be the discussion as opposed to easy better. It's not about whether they better, who's better between the two. I think it's more the skills that is going to be needed for the surface. If they want to go and possibly the opposition that they're playing against, and they want to go short at them, is Anrach Nokia maybe a better option? That will be a discussion. So yeah, I think that's the discussion where it's
last IPL. I think Rabada was fantastic.
Yes, he was. Yeah, I mean they worked well in tandem together. To be honest
They
with you,
worked together.
Together. Yeah.
So maybe that's an option as well if they can somehow find a way to get them both playing. Maybe that'll be a good striking force.
Right.
That's the message for Ricky Ponting to send Stoinis out. All right. Maybe Arnav, you can quickly ask.
Hello.
Arnav, one quick question to our big boss JP.
Yeah. My question to you is: if you were the captain of KKR today and your opening bowler has gone for 25 runs, would you have given him the third over as well?
Probably not the third over. But would have possibly looked for an opportunity to bring him back in the middle overs if the situation allowed it. So the game situation obviously depends on your strategy, who the batters are batting at the time, because there would have been certain conversations had in their preparations, trying to find the best way to get a particular batter out and in a specific time. So in the middle overs, who's going to be the best option for them to get the wickets? And if it wasn't Mavi, then they probably wouldn't have gone to him. But yeah, you could have possibly looked at an opportunity there. But Morgan obviously didn't feel that way. He would know best as to how to use these players.
Thank you, guys. Lovely show as always with JP. Thank you, Naresh.